welcome back to my studio. I hope you're well. It's so good to be home. I've been away at Lorne, the beach, for a few days and I'm back in my happy place. I will show you some shots of the beach as I speak. It was a pretty rainy couple of days down there. We only had the first day with sunshine and the rest we were trying to move around in the drizzle. So I didn't get to actually sit out and sketch. In fact, I didn't do a lot of sketching at all. Luckily, our room had a view and I was able to do a little bit of sketching from there. And I did take, as you can see, some lovely photos. I hope that's showing my past history of being a photographer, that I know how to take a good shot. And I might be able to do some sketches from those photos, but the reality is I'm so getting into my still life painting that I wasn't too inspired, and painting small in a sketchbook I've noticed is so limiting and it makes me really tighten up, and I just love going big, which is what I'm doing now, which I'll show you in a moment, on the big canvas. So the way I did pack, I'll show you. I took a backpack worth of goodies, and last vlog I showed you the gouache, and what I did was I bought a little palette. I have been painting, so it's a bit messy. Ugh, there goes the gouache. So I just bought a little round palette and I poured all the gouache out and let it harden, and so it's like the watercolor does harden into a cake, and then you can just re-wet that and paint with that. So I took that down and that worked really well. I had a little container for water, my little watercolor kit, my sketchbooks, and my paintbrushes. It was really hard to decide what brushes. I've realised I'm so attached to so many of my brushes, and it was also really hard to figure out how to store them. If I'm going to do this travelling sketching thing, I'm going to have to figure out how to carry the brushes a lot better. They're fared okay, I haven't damaged them, but I wouldn't want to do that over and over. That's that, and took a little pouch of things. So just some paint pens in a variety of colours and a couple of blacks, whites, and then these little paint pens that I filled with water. They worked really well. They were great. They were fun. They worked well. And I did bring this big pad, and it's really quite clever. It's a watercolor. I'll show you. It's a watercolor book, and the page is held down. The sides are all taped, so when you're out in the open, the wind doesn't pick up your pages like it can in a sketchbook. And generally with a sketchbook, what you do is have some bull clips to hold your page down, but this is held down for you, and then when you're finished you can just pick up that sheet there and rip that page off and have a fresh new sheet. But as you can see, I'm yet to use this book. It was pretty drizzly and miserable down at the beach actually. I ended up not feeling too well. I don't know whether it's because I finally stopped, and when you do that, you finally have a break and you crash a little bit, or whether it was a long COVID type of thing. But the drive down, it was about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from where I live, and it just really seemed to take forever to get down there. Normally I love driving and Normally I can do that in a pinch, but it really took it out of me, and I really crashed and felt very, very sick actually, and I only just made it back home. Feeling great now, I'm fine. But it was a bit disappointing to not have my full energy while I was down there. So the very few little sketches that I did do, and they're not very good either, not sure I want to show you, because they were from the hotel room. And what I found was really easy to overwet the page with the gouache, and I wasn't getting down what I wanted and how I wanted. There's the miserable skies we had. And this is an example where I just got so overwet I couldn't get any other colour down. I had to wait for that to dry. So that's a big miss. And then that one I learnt to leave a little bit of the page for the white where I'd wet it too much. So they're the little sketches that I did while I was down there. The other thing we did was a little bit of shopping. There was an op shop down there, so we went and had a look, and I found a couple of really great treasures. First thing is this, they'll be great props for still life. So this little goblet, it's got a little mark, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, a little mark there of perhaps where it was hand blown, and yeah, it doesn't necessarily look factory made, but anyway, I'm not about whether it's a precious piece or not. I think it'll be lovely, not particularly painted in that colour, but I think it'll be great prop. The other little thing was this little milk or cream jug. Good God. It's by Robert Gordon, and apparently his pottery has been going since 1945, and he sells a lot of tableware. And yeah, this is a gorgeous little pink little jug, and it'll be a great prop. I can't remember, it was $2. No, that was 50 cents. I think, yeah, that was 50 cents. Looks gorgeous. And the other thing was this jug, which again will be a great prop. It is a hand painted piece from Portugal, which is pretty amazing. And you can't really, I googled it. It says hand painted in Portugal, and it's a squat jug, and you can hear that it's got a crack. It's just got that sound, and often that's where I find the teacups and things in the op shops, because they're a beautiful piece, but they've got a crack and they're no longer useful to hold water. So as long as I don't fill that with anything, it'll be fine. So yeah, it's a gorgeous little jug, isn't it? What else have I got to show you? That's all about the holiday. It was lovely, but I'm a homebody and I'm just so glad to be home and in my studio again. So I'll show you what I'm working on now that I'm back home. This is editing Selena here. I managed to not press record when I was talking about the stage that this is at. But what I mentioned was that I was really liking the jug and particularly the fruit bowl. And I loved how I had the yellow in, that I was being brave and using the yellow and loving the flowers. But the composition is very much in half rather than thirds. And so I need to create some diagonals to start breaking up and helping the composition. So Okay, so here's where I've got to today. You can see I've put these other elements in, the shell, this little shell, just a suggestion. I'm not sure, the paint's still wet, so I've stopped going over it, but I might still add a little bit to that. And I've put my new jug in with the pattern, the planer pattern, and I've put it in there at a bit of an angle to help mirror and help move the eye around the painting rather than it being where are we, flat like that and just kind of pointing. I've already got enough horizontal going on, so yes, angled that up a little bit to create this, and I've put this checkered cloth in to also give me some movement, and finished off the flowers. Super happy with those, liking the jug. I've left the pattern off because I feel like it's quite busy already. Yeah, I've also put a little bit of yellow ochre wash over that cloth, just push that back a little and help the objects come forward, and given a little bit of a suggestion of angle there that the tablecloth drops away, even though the plate couldn't physically possibly sit there on the edge, but it just helps that tipping your eye and your brain's going, what's going on? And it just helps that plate move in the piece. So it's got that vitality and it's got something going on for the eye to do. So I think that shell just needs a little bit more, and I'm not sure whether I might do a little bit more to the background of the patterned piece. Here I like how there's a bit of a paler colour here. This is coming off a bit gold, and I haven't really got gold anywhere else. So yes, I might do that. And just looking in the camera now, the tablecloth looks a little all as one. So I might brighten some and knock back some of that checkered tablecloth as well. But I'll sit with it for a bit. But mostly she's almost there. Really happy with it. It's unusual for me to do a group of things. If you're familiar with my work, it's generally a single bouquet. So yeah, this was really fun to have a play and start to branch out from that. And yeah, super excited. I think that's all I have for you this week. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.